What's Your Why? In this webcast series, we will interview influential people from many different backgrounds. Our goal is to discover their purpose, their passion, and why they chose the path they are on. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us for What's Your Why? In this edition this month, I'm really honored to have Laurel Youngstrom with us from Youngstrom Safety. How are you, Laurel?
Doing pretty good.
Excellent. Super honored to have you. I've seen you and your husband, Russ, present multiple times over the years, and it's a very moving story. It's a very moving presentation. And unfortunately, Russ can't be with us today for a variety of reasons, but Laurel can tell us a little bit about the story of what happened to Russ and maybe the bigger picture of how it affected your family and people outside of just Russ, the person who was injured on the job.
Yes, it was in November of 1995, and he was just going to work. He was a commercial painter, and he was working up in Everett, for those of you who know where that is. And he, kissed me goodbye and checked in on our son Spencer, who was in his little race car bed, and he stopped on his way for a maple bar and his 4 shots of espresso, and got to work, and there was a clipboard, and so he knew there was a safety meeting, so he signed it and just sat there, not paying attention. And then after lunch, they were on their way back to go to work. They were power washing a paper mill is what they were doing. And they were on their way to go back to work, and the paper mill stopped him and said, "No, you need to go to our safety meeting." So he walked up the stairs to the safety meeting, and he didn't listen again. Got a cup of coffee and a Snickers bar, and just sat there with his feet up on the chair and didn't pay attention. He thought, it won't happen to me, so why should I pay attention? And so it was toward the end of the day, and they were trying to figure out where to put the spider unit, which is kind of like a scaffolding. And it was his idea to just tie it off to the handrail on a 30-foot platform. And the guys working with him agreed. And so they tried to pick it up, but it was too heavy. So they were going to have the guy pull it with a rope to help him lift it up. And he was thinking that they didn't have enough leverage. So they actually climbed up on the handrail. And then he felt like his safety line was at a bad angle, so he unhooked his safety line. And it went right by his coworker, and his coworker said no, and Russ told him to F off, and they left it at that. So what happened is they were supposed to pick it up, and the guy was supposed to pull it with a rope. Well, for whatever reason, it slipped out of his hand, or I don't know, but something happened. And the spider unit came back and hit him in the chest and knocked him back about 10 feet. And then, of course, straight down. And he talks about not realizing that it was a split second. He was thinking the whole time about how to land, because the guy that got him the job had said, "Don't land on your feet because it'll blow your ankles and your knees and your hips." So he was trying to land sideways and roll and walk it off, and his leg got caught in the airline and pulled him back up, bungeed him back up, and then he says he was just lost after that. He just experienced a big crack, like the crack of a bat when, like it's a wooden bat in a home run, on the back of his head, and then a snap, and that was his spine. And he ended up being a T9 and 10 paraplegic. That was in 1995, and so it was 29 years ago. So we just it changed our life.
And I know that just last week you made a trip to Georgia, and I made the comment to you, I just
Mm-hmm.
can't imagine. I travel a lot, and I can't imagine traveling through airports in a wheelchair like Russ because Russ is a paraplegic now.
Mm-hmm.
He's a paraplegic, not a quadriplegic, right?
Yes,
So
that's correct.
he has no feeling from the waist down. And you've been a
Right.
caretaker for 30 years since. And I know that his story is very moving. And I don't want to steal the thunder of his story because the viewers out here, they need to
Mm-hmm.
engage with you folks and have you come tell this story to their workers so that their workers don't sit there with their feet up on the table ignoring a safety meeting, so to speak. But tell
Right.
me a little bit, tell the viewers a little bit about how this briefly affected those around Russ and how it changed everything.
The people who saw the fall, they had to go to counseling. They shut down the job for, I don't know, like 3 days. Um, his the coworker that was holding on to the rope, um, he quit and left the state, and never heard from him since. Unfortunately, I think he feels like it was his fault, but if Russ would have been tied off, he wouldn't have fallen, even if the guy let go of the rope. Um, he talked about the safety director. Oh my gosh, every time he sees us, his eyes still fill with tears because he feels like he could have done something. But Russ assures him he couldn't have done anything. He was just unsafe for so long, he just didn't think it would happen to him. And then the guy who got him the job, the one I mentioned before, he never came to see us because he thought it was his fault. Because if he wouldn't have gotten him the job, then he wouldn't have fallen and he wouldn't have been a paraplegic. So it's affected a lot. His parents ended up getting a divorce. Um, it just was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. Um, he talks about how there were so many friends at the hospital, and then it just dwindled down. And turned out only one person from his past really was his friend still. And that was somebody he'd known since, childhood. We made a lot of new friends, don't get me wrong. But it's hard because people don't know what to say. So they say nothing. And they ghost you without realizing it.
Yeah, they do. They quietly ghost you, and I think we've all seen it in different situations. And
Mm-hmm.
I think in our safety profession, we take it very personally when somebody gets hurt because we do everything we can with passion to prevent
Yes.
that. And the thing that a lot of workers don't think about or realize because they don't think it's going to happen to them. That's the thing. They never think it's going to happen to them. Injuries happen to
No.
other people, but they don't realize the
Mm-hmm.
pond effect or the spider web effect of an injury. So you and Russ travel the
Right.
entire country telling your story now. Why do you do
Mm-hmm.
that? And if there's one message that you want viewers to take away from this interview today, what would it be?
Um, we do that because we don't want anyone to go through what we've gone through. I mean, our, our life has not been horrible. In fact, we've heard a lot of worse stories. In some ways, we're the best case scenario, but we don't want anyone to have to go through any of the stuff that we've gone through in our lives. I learned way, way more about nursing than I never wanted to know. um, he's he's been told he should be going on hospice, actually for the last like 2.5 years, but he decided that he just wants to keep traveling and keep telling the message and the story, and try to get people to think twice before, not before they do something unsafe, but instead of doing something unsafe. Um, and think about what it is that you don't want to miss out on, because you don't know what you're going to miss until it's too late.
A strong message for people. Listen, people, to what she just said. You know, Russ and Laurel don't want anybody else to go through what he's gone through. So, Laurel, if people want to get a hold of you and have you speak at an event or come talk to their company, how do they do that?
You can go to youngstromsafety.com. It's just like it sounds. It's our name plus the word safety and then .com. And that's our website. And there's places where you can click to get a free consultation.
Excellent.
I also offer 12 free safety prompts that I just created just because people were saying that they didn't have enough material for like toolbox talks and stuff like that. So,
well, I thank you. Again, I think this is so valuable. And I've heard this story told by many people, many different ways. I really like your approach because your approach touches home. It's all about family. It's all about what matters most. And I appreciate that you
right.
guys do it. I know it's a full-time job for you. You don't have to do it though, and you do it every single day, and we appreciate it. So thanks for sharing your story. Thanks for being with us. All the info is below here on this video, and we'll see everybody next month.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Have
Laurel.
a good one.
All right, bye-bye.